Sup guys? So about 4 months ago, I made this game called Throw Stuff to knock people off a map. And since this game was made in 1 hour, it had a lot of bugs. So yeah, despite this, I thought the game was actually really fun. So I'm gonna try and remake it and make it 10 times better. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is remake the throwing script, since in the last game it was super laggy and like the hitboxes were all messed up. So I need to make sure that's good. And I actually found this module by Zan the Dragon called Fast Cast, which is usually used for guns and stuff, but it works perfectly for throwing items. And this actually uses raycast instead of spawning a part and then adding velocity to it. And I know most of you guys don't script, so basically raycasting good, adding velocity and spawning a part bad. And with this new knowledge, I was able to make this. And I know it doesn't look very cool, but trust me, this works way better than the last time I did it. Next, I wanted the player to know where they were throwing the item, so by using the initial position and velocity, I was able to calculate the derivative of the gravity to make this path, which basically just shows you where the part's gonna land. And now it works perfect. So I'm actually only checking if something hits the center of the item. So if you hit someone with the corner of it, it doesn't register. So to fix this, I actually found another module called Raycast Hitbox. And I'd love to tell you how this works, but I have no clue. But it does work, and that's all we need. And then to add a little feedback to the game, I added these particle effects to make it look like the item blew up whenever you hit something. And it definitely made it look way better. So now the game is pretty much missing one thing. The UI. So if we look at the old game, the UI is terrible. This is garbage. So I decided to remake all the UI. Wow, that looks amazing. It definitely didn't take me 5 hours and I didn't have to sell my soul. Okay, and now after a little bit of coding, I have all the UI working. But in some of my old games, Pogo Simulator, you can play it on Roblox. If you check out the leaderboards, it's full of hackers that just cheated their way to the top. And this is because if the player wanted to do anything, I would just check it on the client side and not double check it on the server. And this would leave the game vulnerable to hackers. And this is obviously a problem, so don't worry. In the new game, hackers will have to go through me first. So I implemented this intricate code that would double check that you had the amount of money that you did. Another one of the main things in the old game was when you hit someone, they would ragdoll so that you could hit them off a map and get a kill. And since I already had this system in my old game, I'm just gonna copy and paste. So now when you hit someone, it looks like this.
Wow.
Alright, but if we look at the shop, it looks kinda empty. So let me cook real quick. Wow, that was stupid. Okay, so for the new items, I want to make them a little bit special. So first, I'm going to work on a missile. So I'm just going to take this missile from the toolbox to use. And then I gave it some custom properties and then gave it a hitbox. And now it looks pretty good. But the thing about the missile is I want it to explode whenever it hits something. So I made this explosion effect. And then I used that to create the trail of fire that the missile would leave behind. And it ended up looking like this. And then I used a little bit of coding to figure out how far away each player was from the missile, and if they were close enough, then they would ragdoll away and get that much damage done to them for how close they were to the missile. Next, I wanted to make a fireball, which was pretty simple because I already had the fire effect. So I just took this rock from the toolbox, added the fire to it, and then I made it so whenever you hit a player, they start on fire, and then every second they take damage. And then I made this ice cube, and whenever you hit someone, I turned the friction down so that it would be slippery. But whenever I first did this, I didn't change the friction back correctly. This turned out to be a pretty simple fix and I got it working right away. And then I made this brick that made a brick wall wherever you threw it.
We're gonna build the wall, we have no choice.
And this actually ended up working pretty well. And I added a few more items, but you guys can just go check them out whenever you play the game. The link's in the description. And now for the map. So I decided I want the game a little bit like Slap Battles, where there was a lobby and then the main map and you can just go through a teleporter to get to the map. And I also wanted to have this like classic Roblox look because I feel like it would look simple, but it would fit the game. So basically, I'm just going to make everything out of studs. So first I made these two platforms, one for the lobby, one for the map. And then I just looked up classic in Toolbox and I just put a bunch of things in the game. And I mean, it seemed to work pretty well, so I just left this as the lobby. Nah, I'm just kidding. This is the finished lobby. So yeah, here it is. I actually think it turned out pretty well since it's simple and it looks good, which is pretty much what I was going for. I also got a little bored while I was making it and made this title for the game. It also has this teleporter, and when you go in, you get teleported to the map. And here's the map. So I added this mountain so you can go up and get some high ground on your enemies, And then I added this jungle gym thing because I noticed in every game that has classic stuff in it, it has this jungle gym. And then I added this island too where you can get some cover, and here's the castle. I might add more to the map in the future, but I'll just see how this works whenever I test out the game with some other people. And then before I released the game, I added this store where you could buy VIP and stuff like that. And yeah, the game's pretty much done. So I just polished up a few more things, added this icon, and now it's ready to release. I also wanted to say sorry for not posting for a while. I've still been working on games the whole time, so expect more videos coming soon. You guys can go check the game out. It's the first link in the description. I had a lot of fun making this, and I hope you guys have a lot of fun playing it.